We need to make sure that the organizations that we're working with as a consumer or a fellow business partner, they are definitely taking care of their internal AI. Statistically, we see like 65% of employees are using it in some format within their organization. And most of the time, it's not within a governed application or platform, which puts the business or the government agency at risk.
Welcome to the NextGen Scale Podcast. I'm your host, Elena, AI consultant and architect of change. In every episode, I sit down with the founders, innovators, and leaders who are building the future, the ones who are solving the hardest problems and turning disruption into opportunity. If you want to stay ahead of the curve, this podcast is for you. Let's get into it. Carol Eastman is a California-based tech entrepreneur who has built and sold 2 companies over her career and is now the CEO of ReadyAI, a platform that gives enterprises a secure, governed portal so every employee can use AI safely. Drawing on a network she has built over decades, Carol is now focused on one urgent problem. Companies are adopting AI fast but have no idea of the risks they are sitting on. Hello, Carol. Thank you for being here and taking your time for the podcast.
Elena, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be a part of this today.
Why are AI governance and AI compliance suddenly becoming so important for companies?
For several reasons. One is regulation. The legal system is rapidly creating laws and governance requirements, and regulators are asking the enterprise to have compliance and risk rules already in place. We've seen a lot of different companies in the market who have been caught in difficult situations due to AI leaks and other adoption issues that have not gone well within the organization. The other is reputational damage. A lot of these organizations have had challenges with some of their employees unaware of, the tools and the power that's in their hand. I think also customers, when they're engaging with a business, they have to have trust and transparency that AI decisions that impact them are being governed, right? And people who are in banking, finance, the health industry, almost everyone, right? We share our credit cards. There's a lot of trust in the marketplace. And we need to make sure that the organizations that we're working with as a consumer or a fellow business partner, they are definitely taking care of their internal AI. And then one of the larger reasons why this is becoming very important is that employees are excited about AI. Statistically, we see like 65% of employees are using it in some format within their organization. And most of the time, it's not within a governed application or platform, which puts the business or the government agency at risk.
Yeah, absolutely. I think many people are excited right now to use AI, but they don't know exactly how to do it. You are launching a 60-day challenge. Walk me through the concept. Why 60 days? What happens inside that window and what changes for a company at the end of it?
We chose 60 days for a couple of different reasons. One is the market's driving that, right? Organizations can't put this on the back burner. It's coming at them very swiftly. And we felt that within 60 days, we could get a small to mid-sized business, not a large enterprise, but a size that maybe has 300, 500-ish employees that needs some type of AI adoption plan. We picked that because we felt that we could keep the momentum. We could definitely work within that window to start a pilot program. I don't know that we would launch for all of the team members the platform, although I would love to. We do feel that we could do some type of assessment, strategy planning, bring in different business units, and create a couple of use cases. We are seeing a lot of organizations that are launching 50. I spoke to someone the other day, had 70 pilots going within different teams, and that's really difficult to harness. So within 60 days, we can meet with some of the champions for internal AI, help them build some strategy and roadmap, create some use cases, work with a couple of business units, and then do an evaluation and then say, okay, let's go. We've got that done within 60 days. I think the market's going to drive that more than the typical technology within IT, which is my background. Lots of times we're looking at a 6 to 9 month rollout, lots of evaluations. AI is just, it's speeding so fast, it's dragging a lot of businesses in that direction.
What does good AI governance and security look like for a company?
Oh, it's cross-functional collaboration. It is a team sport. It's not siloed in IT, and I think that this is one of the challenges within organizations. It is a technology, so technology always lands in the IT department. But because everyone's using it in different capacities, human resources is using it, research and development, everybody's using the technology, but in different capacities. So the good governance definitely includes legal, always legal team, our security team, maybe data scientists, leadership. I can't emphasize that enough. It has to come from leadership. The enthusiasm's there because we use it personally every day. I think most of the people in my world do. But what are those restrictions? What are those guardrails? As an employee, I will follow the rules. That's who I am. But I'm not going to push limits because I also don't want to get in trouble. And I don't want to have any in trouble personally, but also to, damage the organization in which I work. If we create governance and give people the guardrails, then they can get bold with it because they're not scared they're going to do something that's going to damage the organization or impede their own role. It's also engaging with an ecosystem and partners who are very strong players. I do see there's a lot of fresh AI startups. It's exciting, but that's also a concern. Are we working with groups that have a legacy within security and technology, and understand that we need to engage other people within the team? I think also clear policies and controls, right? If you give me the policy, as I mentioned, I will engage typically at every level I can. Um, I will be a better employee if I understand where I can go when I have questions because AI is transforming. So we're talking a lot about proactive defense, not just reactive firefighting. And then lastly, it's the culture of accountability. Employees at every level need to understand their role in ethical AI use. We see that all the time. It's a conversation that we see, on different news media outlets, ethical AI use. In order to empower our teams, but also flag concerns where we as an organization can learn um, what we're doing wrong, how can we correct that, how can we quickly pivot. And it's not just in the past, it's always been just a user guide or a manual, once a year training on human resources, different requirements. This has to have a constant engagement and training and reinforcement from both the inside and the outside of the company.
What are the biggest security risks when companies use AI?
There's a term called data poisoning and bias. The old saying I think we've all heard is garbage in, garbage out. And the data, if it's not accurate, the AI is going to hallucinate. It's going to give us bad information. And then it's not a positive tool for the employees within the organization. I'm working with a lot of different data companies that are really trying to harness all of that assets. It's been sitting literally in vaults of different sources. And how can they leverage all that information that they've been capturing for all these years in order to make that group productive? So the big one is that the data, where is it coming from? What is the source? I mean, it is whenever we do something on a model, it will say at the bottom, remember, check your sources. And it is true. Also, the other thing is model theft and manipulation. I mean, bad actors, they're moving as swift as everybody else and sometimes faster. Attackers might steal or manipulate models to reverse engineer algorithms, cause malfunctions. It's Think of it like someone's hacking your GPS in your car. It's like a James Bond movie, and then sending you down the wrong road to catastrophe. That can happen. And then the other thing is privacy and compliance failures, right? AI can slip in ways that violate privacy laws if not carefully governed, like accidentally broadcasting company secrets or other information from competition. And also, like, I'm located, as you mentioned, in California. We have CCPA. You're located in Europe. You've got your own restrictions on people's private information. So all of those things have to be considered.
I also heard for prompt injecting. How dangerous is that, and how can it be avoided in a company?
It is. It is dangerous. And I think that training for our teams on what is to be aware. One of the things, if you see something that's not familiar or makes you pause, that's something to be concerned about and alert. And prompt ejecting is, again, it's rogue actors. And they are getting in from all kinds of different ways to pollute the AI governance and accountability.
Who is responsible for AI security in a company?
Everyone. Everyone is responsible from the C-suite to our CIO and the technical team, CISOs. The security officers are definitely on the forefront of this. They are creating a lot of lockdowns around AI. So the platform that we partner with, it's a globally built company, a multi-billion-dollar global company. We work with CISOs all the time to say, okay, what are the concerns and how can we help you create a platform, which we have over the last couple of years, to provide an access point for all of the employees. I think it's tough to put that pressure on employees that it's their responsibility because they're thinking it's technology, right? It's just another tech's supposed to protect us with password resets and firewalls. But it truly is very much part of the group. And that's where the education and the training team has to come into play to create accountability programs. But ultimately, leadership owns it. They have to set the tone. They have to allocate resources, embedding governance and strategy. Board of directors are also asking about this. We're seeing a rise of specialized AI security roles, councils that bridge those security compliance requirements. They're kind of like an AI lifeguard. And that is definitely a emerging group within the business forums right now.
Education is crucial when it comes to risk and AI governance. What do you think is the best way to spread more awareness?
I think we built on the lessons that we are familiar with within organizations. Back to my comment earlier, when you start in a new company, HR will typically give you these videos you have to go through and pass tests to make sure that you've actually listened and watched and didn't just hit next, and pass those tests. And then, but typically those happen once a year. I think that we need to have engaged, tailored training that is on a regular basis. The typical dry policy manuals, they just don't cut it anymore for AI. I think AI, to train on AI is very important. use stories, scenarios, and then definitely work on workshops and have some oversight. So let's, for example, say, Elena, you and I are working on a project and we're using an AI tool internally to have some type of oversight or team that we can reach out comfortably and ask, is this how we should be using AI? Where are our limitations? Where else can we go? As much as we talk about limitation, I love exploration. And I think it's important that we give everybody those tools so they can really emerge as an employee and bring those benefits back to the company. And like I mentioned, continuous learning because AI is evolving. So should the education and the content.
Yeah, absolutely. AI changes so fast.
Ugh.
How can AI trainings can be made more interactive?
Gamification, right? Everybody loves a game. Well, I think they should. Most people I know do. Uh, Gamification on AI is important, and because it's not just reading about it or taking those tests as we just discussed, it's also using it and building upon it. And it's not just the training, it's also giving them the guide rails of what they can do on AI. And so that there's a desire to learn the proper way of using AI. I think what I'm hearing from people in general, personally and professionally, is it's a partner. You know, AI is definitely a partner in the day. And if I understand what to expect, what are those boundaries and what are those expectations, we could have a lot of fun and definitely help businesses evolve.
Absolutely. And also, AI can be used as a very good coach. The market knows they need AI compliance, but doesn't know how to start. What is the real blocker? Fear, budget, or something else? And what should be the first step towards implementation?
Hmm, that's a big question. Um, I think fear of complexity is is probably the largest roadblock right now. We used to say in technology, this new software is an octopus. It has 8 legs. This is an alien. We don't even know how many legs it has. It is way above what our historical education has been provided, what we've learned, right? So we are truly launching into the unknown. So businesses feel overwhelmed with the jargon. Every morning we wake up and we go onto our social media or news and even speak to our neighbors, and everything starts with AI. So I think it's easier to, instead of walking into that maze blindfolded, to sit down with a strategist like our team who's been in technology for decades. We've got a very large group that's walked this path several times and say, okay, let's just boil this down. It's one step at a time. Um, and making sure the priorities are set. Sometimes budgets and leadership focuses are elsewhere, right? Treating AI as a compliance as checkbox, right? Rather than a strategic imperative. I do see that a lot of businesses they're trying to keep afloat. They're trying to stay competitive. And then AI came in and just dumped on them and said, okay, I need to take another 2 hours out of your already overloaded day to help stay competitive or compliant. So teams, either engaging our team that we will partner with somebody or internally hire an AI expert to usher you through this journey because it's amazing. It's a great ride, but it can also get really rocky. So the first step is to start small and practical, identify really high risk AI projects, and then implement basic governance, and then to go step by step until you've got a fully fledged AI program.
I've also heard for shadow AI, how does this look in practice and how can it be prevented?
Shadow AI, that is the number one conversation that we have every day. Uh, we all can download ChatGPT or Grok or Claude, whatever one we feel is the best for that moment, and share company information. That is used. That is public. Once it's entered, it's out there and it's in the wild, wild west, and there's no harnessing it back. Within our platform, our clients and their employees, that information is secure. It's not shared to educate and build upon with other organizations. And so there's a compliance factor. The expansion of teams' abilities to go out there and really we want to give them those tools, but we want to give them the right tool set, right? And we want to make sure if somebody needs a hammer, they get a hammer, they're got a screwdriver, and they're trying to trying to accomplish their task. So shadow AI in general is probably the most dangerous thing businesses have seen in a long time, because uh, the complexity of it and the power. It's similar to, for example, let's just say I ride a bicycle and all of a sudden you give me a Ferrari. That's, yes, it gets me from point A to B, but it's a very different ride and it's a lot more dangerous. So I definitely need the licensing and the coaching in order to make it happen. The shadow AI is what has driven the creation of this platform that we partner with, to be able to give everybody in that organization the enjoyment of using it, and leadership, those nights where they can sleep knowing no one's going rogue.
Yeah,
Unintentionally. I mean, it's unintentional. It's a lack of awareness.
definitely. How does the next stage of growth look for Ready AI?
Yeah. Oh, boy, it's going every day. So ReadyAI, as I mentioned, we're a strategic partner for this global platform that has been built over the last couple of years. The platform is expanding and adding LLMs. I stopped quoting numbers of, how many API integrations do we have? It was 4,000. That I had a conversation yesterday, and product lead told me, no, it's 4,200. And I thought, well, we just talked a few days ago. So that's changing very rapidly. Also, the feature functionality on the platform. A couple of great things that have happened. I get this question all the time: which LLM, which model should I use for this task? Well, it depends, right? So on the platform, we can enter, this is what I need to accomplish, and then say, please select the right model for me. And then it gives us the model that is the most productive and effective for that task, that action item that we need. There's another consideration too, tokens, right? Every action that we have, every time we enter something, we use tokens and storage. That's part of the education. Uh, so our platform gives some protection to the users and to the organization that they are using the right model and for the right speed, the right task, and the required outcome. So that's happening. We are now also, oh gosh, we have hundreds and hundreds of pre-built no-code agents that are available for, blog writing, tax attorney. Gosh, the list goes on. And it's not just in IT. 'Cause I focus on IT, but there's human resources and they're pre-built. So people don't have to go outside of the organization to use and build the models and the agents. And then also we're scaling as far as the solution and the reach. We are a USA focused organization. The corporate office is here in Northern California, but I am working with, and our team is working with a lot of companies that are global because we are agnostic and neutral. And then also the partners and ecosystems are definitely growing. Our compliance protocols are always being improved, and making sure that the regulators are getting what they need. So that's a key part that's behind the scenes, besides what the users enjoy on feature and functionality.
Another exciting topic is the events that you're currently hosting. What do you need to say in rooms full with executive level people to make them lean in and listen to your ideas?
That's a great question. And leaning in was a phenomenal choice of words. It is. It's leaning in because there's a lot of people that are leaning back with hesitation because it is complex and it's tough to put your arms around. Speaking the language of the executives, understanding what their challenges are. Um, for our group, everything from um, the platform developers, product leads, my group that partners with them, doing the leadership consulting, the engagement, the user adoption, the onboarding, and of course the long-term maintenance of that relationship. We need to talk to them about things outside the feature functionality we just discussed. How is our proposed platform and engagement impact their bottom line, right? How do we help them reduce risks? How do we get competitive advantage? How do we unlock revenue through AI trust? And those are different threads of conversations with different business units, different leaders. CFOs, they're responsible. Their fiduciary duty is to make sure that that company makes money, and that they keep their accounting as much in alignment with the proposed budgets. And AI is throwing some budgets off, right? So because of our fixed fee, right, $30 per user per month, I call it unlimited, but almost unlimited use of over 55 LLMs, with a very large storage and about 22 million tokens per user per month. It's an aggregate. So now CFOs are going, oh, okay, this is great. I've got a place to put that budget. Human resources has a platform to say, okay, I can train to this versus I have to create a compliance handbook, but I don't know what we're using, right? So that also settles that component. And then the IT team knows what platform they're using. And then the board of directors and the C-suite, they're aware of where their team is working, and then they can build upon it. So we touch upon all of those points that they're concerned about, and then also just talk to them about what we're seeing as real case scenarios that are working, ones that aren't. Not everything's a success, and just be able to give them some comfort. We've been down this path. We're a seasoned group. We understand the layer of technology below that sits below this platform, and the requirements in order to make everybody go to sleep at night and have a productive engagement with internal AI.
So very important topics. And we are reaching the last question. You've built and sold to tech companies. What does those experiences teach you to be a better founder today?
A lot of reflective evenings on that question prior to you asking. There's a great old saying about don't work in your business, work on your business. Learning to delegate, learning to empower people to take on tasks, and as a leader, to be able to continue looking at strategy, asking your team to take on things. Sometimes they're uncomfortable, but most people are excited to grow and develop. So that was one of my largest lessons learned, is to really continue to look at the business from the outside and not get so engulfed with what's going on the day-to-day activities. I'm not saying I don't do that, but it's not where my mind sits in the evening quietly.
When you're choosing people to work with, what are the most important traits and criteria for an A player for you?
Passion, passion. When somebody shows up and they are enthusiastic and they want to be a part of the team and they want to learn and be engaged in what we're doing as a group, I can't teach that. We can teach people to do a lot of different things, especially with AI. I mean, that's to the point, right? AI is able to do a lot of things that were pretty basic. We would spend weeks and months training somebody. So some of that has been enhanced with AI. I don't want to say eliminated, because we still need people to do their jobs. When I hear that, AI is taking my job, I think, no, AI is just making me better at my job. making more confident in my job and making my life easier with better decisions. So as a new hire, AI can't teach them to be passionate, to be a part of the group. And like I mentioned, it's contagious, right? So other people want to work with somebody who's enthusiastic, and customers want to engage with team members that are excited to help see them succeed. And our partners also want to help build our business because we have a great group to work with every day. That that piece we can't train. They have to bring it to the table.
Absolutely. Great team spirit and initiative and enthusiasm are traits that actually cannot be taught compared to many others parts of the skill set. Carol, thank you very much for taking the time for the conversation and for your insights on AI governance, security, and compliance, and how companies can use AI in safe way.
Yeah, thank you for having us on today. I was so excited to be a part of this. I see a lot of your recent podcasts. I think you're doing an excellent job, and we'll definitely be following you, and hopefully you'll invite me back again.